Hello and welcome back to a Minish Cap.
A Minish Cap. Only one.
Well, excuse me. So now we are going to speak to the Elder, who is the main reason we needed the Jabbernut in the first place, so we could speak to him.
Jabbernut? Sorry.
Jabbernut.
And the girl starts talking too much. Honey, you don't need to go into detail. We both know what's going on here. Oh, man.
Well, I can't believe it took until episode 3 for that shit to start happening. Damn it, Alex.
Yep.
Thanks. I was
Can we do this now?
I was trying to keep
jokes now.
I was trying to keep this PG and family friendly, but I guess that just went out the fucking window.
You started last episode with fuck.
Yeah, you're right. Damn it.
Who are you, Kirby? But yeah, this is a game. Yes.
Anyway, back to what we were saying when
Angela's
I
like,
abruptly
God
ended
damn
the
it,
last episode.
I can be comedic now. What was I even talking about? Okay, I love how these are clovers. I love that. That's man, this game's gorgeous.
Now we talk. So now we talk to the Elder. We got some information on shrines and the MacGuffins of the game. So now we're going into the first temple or dungeon.
What is it about really expressive sprite art that just, I don't know, it just seems so much better than 3D. Maybe it's, man, I don't know. Maybe it's
because it didn't take as much work as 3D, but people had fun making.
Yeah, it seems like more love went into these kind of things, but I mean the same thing could have went into other things too, like Wind Waker, for example.
I think like it's kind of like when you see really good animation in like an old American show versus like an anime.
Yeah.
Where it's like, because anime has to render less frames, which is why their animation they can get like really good dynamic scenes with a lot of different angles and stuff, because they only render up to 15 FPS, whereas American animation is typically done at 25 FPS. So when you see really, really good animation, like Sakuga, as it's called, where you have the really good spacing, really good on-model animation, in like Batman the Animated Series or Batman Beyond or like Teen Titans, it's really, really impressive. Because you know it took a lot of work.
Back in that first room, if you didn't notice, I forgot how to open doors for a split second because I'm used to running into them in the handheld Zelda games.
Right.
It's really good. Yeah, he's like, what are you doing? So for some reason, those mushroom enemies have a weird history of their translations. So in the German version of Link to the... and I think it's in the German version of... not A Link to the Past. Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
When you attack those enemies or use the powder on them, they basically ask for like a condom, I think it is. I may be completely wrong here. But I do...
Yes, you are correct. They do ask for something along those lines of that in the German version of Link's Awakening. I don't know why.
Maybe it's like,
weird,
good because it's a culture more comfortable with sexuality than like America or Japan.
Maybe because they look like giant penises.
There's that too.
Also, I love how he's like, hey, this barrel just moved after moving it for like 3 seconds. Like, yeah, you're correct. It did move.
Correct! Yeah, I love... Oh, man. Like, every time the GBA flirts with Mode 7, I don't even know if that's what it's called anymore. Because that was a specific, like, chip. Now it's just, 3D rotoscoping, I guess. I don't really know what the word is for it. But I love how it looks. It's really fantastic.
I love the, I'm pretty sure it was the Super Effects chip when they implemented that into the Super Nintendo games for, like, Yoshi's Island 2, etc.
Yeah, the Super Effects
chip. That game looks fucking amazing. Even today.
Yep. Like when Bowser's approaching you at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and the music's good in that one. Unlike every other Yoshi game, it seems.
Yep. Yeah, I feel bad for you people that are fans of Yoshi, because Christ, those games are fucking hit and miss.
I thought you were going to say I feel bad for Yoshi. Not.
Those games are bad for him too. but
Yeah.
fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
What was the last good Yoshi game that came out?
Woolly World?
Yeah, I was gonna say debatably probably Woolly World.
Yoshi and Poochie's Woolly World is also fantastic. Doesn't look as good, but it has more content. Okay, I love how his face turns red. That's amazing.
I do too. And we
Something
got
I
the
adore-
map.
Something I adore about the Minish Cap and a lot of 2D Zelda games, and it's something that Ego Raptor brings up in his rather infamous Zelda video, is that look at the digits.
I guess
Look
it
at the-
took till episode 3 for
Yep.
us to bring
Yep.
that up. I was wondering.
Yeah. But look
anyway.
at if you look at
I assumed. I always thought this Mario's. Did he make a Mario 64 video about, or was
No.
it just opinion about floating?
he
It's
says Mario 64 feels floaty, and by the standards of like Sunshine or Galaxy, he's kind of correct. But
Yeah.
I mean that's not exactly fair.
I mean, what do you expect from
What
do you expect from- Sorry, Angela. What were you saying?
It's been a while since I watched anything from Ego Raptor.
Yeah.
Non-entirely.
His Zelda and Castlevania videos have aged in a really fun way,
Yeah, they really have.
where
I
it
agree.
feels like Nintendo's actually responded to him. Because Breath of the Wild kind of feels like his ideal Zelda game, as it was described in that video, of just like all the freedom of like Zelda 1, or the idea of the freedom, not 1-to-1, of course,
Yeah.
being translated into a 3D space. And they did a really good job of that. But yeah, what I was saying is one of the things he brings up is how a lot of 2D Zelda games don't have the limitations of a 3D Zelda game, like in terms of progression. So if you look down at your rupee counter, that's a 3-digit rupee counter. There's no limit at 99. Now, if I'm correct, is there any wallet in this game?
Yes, they're like Wind Waker. There are wallet upgrades.
Okay, so I may be wrong. Another thing but basically just the removal of early game limitations in order to make it a more satisfying game. So like, for example, you can just lift up pots. You can drag pots. You can roll with R1 without having to get a movement enhancing item, you know?
Yep.
In Link's Awakening and Link to the Past, that was a thing that you couldn't really do. There were a lot of things that limited your movement. However, I don't think that necessarily makes those games bad, because that gets used again in A Link Between Worlds. I think that's just that style of game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
What I was gonna say about the Mario 64 statement is that honestly, what do you expect from one of the first 3D games ever made at that time? Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what did we have at the time?
I mean, he could have controlled like Croc, but no one wanted that.
Croc
Even
didn't
Croc
even
wanted
want
that.
that.
I was gonna say, ah, damn it, you beat me to it.
Croc, actually, did you know that started out as a Yoshi game?
Yeah, and it also
did
came
not.
up for 64.
Yep. Yes,
No,
Alex.
no, I'm thinking of Jumping Flash. Never mind.
Yeah, Alex, the developer for Croc, they went to Nintendo and they're like, "Hey, can we make a Yoshi game? We have a design and stuff going on." And they're like, no, you can't." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And they made Croc. But as you just saw, we got the Gust Jar, one of the new additions to Minish Cap that I don't think has been used in any other Zelda game.
Not
And
that
what
I'm
it-
aware of.
And what it does is,
Wasn't
well,
it used in the Skyward Sword?
Yes, it
Was
was.
it?
There is something
Oh,
similar to
okay.
the Gust Jar and Skyward Sword. Man, I want to love that game. That game hurt.
I just remember the item you get in Smash.
Yes.
so those items right there that we just got, the mysterious shells, those are what I was talking about for the figurine minigame.
Okay.
And we're gonna need as many of those as we can get. Luckily, the starting carrying capacity is 999. Thank Christ.
Thank goodness. Yeah, I like how the suck cannon in this has a it seems to have lips.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kinda does.
Yeah, or like a lid on it that kind of flaps.
Yeah.
That's something that Ratchet and Clank did really well with its suck cannon, because it animated like a cartoon weapon, It wasn't just rigid, like the metal like flexed and bent, you know?
Yeah.
It kind of shook and struggled and like and swelled once it got full enough.
Well, I think that's enough for this episode. We'll find out what happens next time. Thank you and bye.
Goku shows up.